John, listen, first things first, why make the decision to run? Why make the decision to run in this race for this seat, obviously formerly held by Richie Torres, who's moved on to Congress now? Why make this decision?
Well, this is a great opportunity to expand on the work I've done at Bronx Community Board 6. Everything from sponsoring open gyms for the community, to sponsoring financial literacy workshops, to having a paid internship program. The neighborhoods of Belmont, Fordham, and Tremont need people that go above and beyond the job description. I'm from the neighborhood and I want to do that in the city council.
How does your work, both with Community Board 6 and your previous experience, help you be qualified for and let people think you should be good in this role?
Community Board 6 is the main community board in the council district. So I've already been doing the job in terms of serving the neighborhoods of Belmont, Tremont. We've already been working with young people to sponsor open gyms. We've already been doing community events, whether it's financial literacy workshops to fitness classes, even helping businesses on East Tremont get $200,000. And the jobs are very similar. I work with the city agencies, whether it's the police department or the parks department. The great thing about the council is that we get a bigger budget and we can actually pass some legislation.
That would be the big one. Obviously, that would be a big improvement.
Yes.
What you would be wanting to do there. You've talked about in several of your things, talked about a lot of different issues that are facing the people here in the district, and there are several to talk about. One thing that's really affecting a lot of people right now, small businesses have absolutely just been decimated by this pandemic, and there are obviously some of them trying to just stay open. Others are looking for relief wherever they can get it. If elected, what would be your plan as far as helping out some of these small businesses and these mom and pop shops here in the district that are trying to just stay afloat at this point?
Well, it's important to know that the city has a fiscal crisis of its own. We really need the federal government to step up to the plate and help states and cities because the city can't borrow. But in the meantime, what the city council can do is we can put funding towards Workforce One centers. We can put funding towards mobile small business services vans. So businesses know what resources are there for them, what grants are available to them. But we really need federal relief before we can do anything.
To that end, obviously, when we talk about where people work is obviously important, but where people live is extremely important as well. And here in this district, the phrase affordable housing gets thrown around so much. And then obviously people refer to what is truly affordable housing, what isn't. And obviously new buildings being built. Housing is a major issue. Whether you want to call it a crisis or not, that's your prerogative. But the point is, what would you do to address the housing situation here in the district if elected?
So it's a two-pronged approach. One, we need to build more housing. Before the pandemic, we had 20% job growth. We only had 8% housing growth. We need to be building more. But then the second piece is, to your point, we have to realize some people won't be able to afford $500 a month in rent, no matter what. And for those people, we need to expand the city's voucher program, the state's voucher program, and we need to expand the federal Section 8 voucher program. That way, that can bridge the gap between the people who can't afford $500 a month and rent. But those are key. We need to build a lot more in all neighborhoods throughout the city, but we also need to provide a big voucher program so people can afford the rents of the new buildings that are being built.
You've also spoken about how you want to make sure, help people to earn more money and to make sure that they can afford more housing. Talk a little bit about some of your plans as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, it's important. Just because someone doesn't have a college degree doesn't mean they should be relegated to a minimum wage job. I want to invest some of the discretionary dollars that the city council gets towards a workforce development center at the old Fordham Library on Bainbridge Avenue. So we can invest in nonprofits teaching people to get jobs in computer science, in coding, in the technology fields, arts, even media and podcasting. Why not get the talent of the Bronx trained to get high-paying jobs in their own community?
I've noticed that a lot of your attention is poised toward not just, like you said, giving people the training to get better jobs, but to also just basically educating people and improving quality of life. And we're talking about not just middle class jobs here, but obviously we're talking about education and making sure that the youth of the Bronx get what they need. What would you want to do as far as improving the education system and improving the opportunities for the young people of the district?
Well, the first thing is, I think the city and the next mayor, we should invest in universal broadband. We saw that so many people don't have internet connections, whether it's remote learning or working from home. That can be the next big jobs program if our city were to invest in universal broadband, giving access to people living in public housing. Having internet access is such a key because you can't apply for a job online if you don't have internet. You can't update your resume and submit it if you don't have internet. So that's the key. And then the second piece is when it comes to education, we need to be investing in nonprofits that train people outside of the normal, 4-year college degree programs, whether that's arts, media, things of that nature. That's key when it comes to education. And the last piece is we should be investing in trade schools and apprenticeship programs. Right now, we have the Bathgate Industrial Complex. It's kind of a very empty area. Why not turn that into a apprenticeship program school sponsored by CUNY so people can get trained in the construction trades as well?
Do the young people here in the Bronx, do they have enough opportunities? Can we do more? Can we make things more, give them more options as far as what they can do outside of school, I suppose?
They need more opportunities, 100%. Even in government, I want my neighbors in Belmont and Tremont, a kid growing up on 184th and Park Avenue, I want them to have the same opportunity that I have to work in government and work and serve their neighborhood. And government shouldn't be off limits. So another idea I have is that the city council should have a paid internship program citywide so young people can get involved in government and learn how it works so they can have careers in government. Because I'll tell you, there are thousands of job opportunities in government, but we need to have those opportunities available to kids in the Bronx.
Tell me about car-free Sundays on the Grand Concourse.
Yes.
Tell me about this idea.
Yeah, so in the 90s, there was car-free Sundays from July through November every year. And you would have kids playing basketball, you would have people running, biking, enjoying the Grand Concourse, which is one of the most famous streets in the Bronx. The program was ended by Mayor Giuliani, and it hasn't been brought back. I think, especially now with people wanting to be outside in the summer, we're still dealing with a pandemic, let's have the Grand Concourse car-free on Sundays again, where we could have vendors selling some goods on some streets of the Grand Concourse, having people run, bike, walk, and enjoy their neighborhood.
John, yeah, I know you're a Bronx native. Tell me a little bit about your upbringing and your past here in the Bronx. Where you grew up, what schools you went to, that sort of thing. Your whole connection to the borough.
Yeah, I grew up on 167th and Walton, right off of the Grand Concourse. Then I moved to 184th and Park, which is in the 15th Council District in Belmont. And then I lived in Parkchester. I went to school in the South Bronx, 151st and Melrose, Immaculate Conception. Then I went to Cardinal Spellman High School. And that set the foundation for me to graduate from NYU Stern.
Oh, very nice. You play any sports at Spellman?
I played football. Go Falcons.
Oh, very
Yes.
nice. Very nice. Been there many a time in the past. So very cool.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when we talk about, issues facing the district, we get into a lot of the things that are wrong and things that need to be fixed. But I think in order, if you're a public servant or you want to run for this kind of an office, there's got to be something about the district that really speaks to you, that you want to lead the people of the district. For you, what is it about District 15, this portion of the Bronx, that makes you want to be the person who helps lead them forward into the future?
Well, this district's in the center of the Bronx, and it has so many community assets. We have the Botanical Garden, we have the Bronx Zoo, we have Fordham Road, we have the Belmont Business Improvement District, Arthur Avenue, all of the great restaurants. We also have Fordham University. So it really is the intersection of so many stakeholders that can make this neighborhood even better. And also just the people I speak to every day in the neighborhood, the people that would come to my civics workshops looking to get involved, the people that would join us for park cleanups, whether it be Tremont Park, River Park. Even when the pandemic happened, our neighbors were donating for food relief, whether it be grocery gift cards or food pantries. And that's the character of this neighborhood, and that's the character of my neighbors, and that's why I want to serve this neighborhood.
John, when you mentioned they're speaking to people in the neighborhood, when you do speak to people from the neighborhood, from the district, what do they tell you? What do they tell you they need? They absolutely just, their biggest issue, I guess, facing them right now?
The biggest issue right now is unemployment. People are still concerned about being able to get back to work. They've been laid off. They're concerned about also when the eviction moratoriums end, will there be rental relief? Will they have to pay back 6 to 12 months of rent? Those are the big concerns. And the last concern is all of the young people going to school right now, they've been behind a desk. They've been behind this computer screen for the past year. What are they going to do this summer? What opportunities are going to be there for them? Will they have recreation activities? Will they have summer youth employment opportunities? Those are the top 3 concerns. And I'm committed to making sure we have a great summer in this district.
Part of that is the vaccine, obviously, and the rollout regarding that. And we've seen that in other portions of the Bronx so far. There's been a lot of outreach, a lot of pop-ups, a lot of state and city run programs. How would you address that situation moving forward as far as helping out? Because again, winning this special election, you'll get right into it right away. What would you want to do to try to make sure that the people in the district get the vaccine as quickly and safely as possible?
Yeah, it's important for people to know that the number one thing that I'll do if I'm elected, we have to negotiate a budget that's due July 1st with the mayor. So we need to invest and make sure that the budget has money for mobile vaccination vans that can go to our senior centers and to our NYCHA centers. We also need to make sure that we're proactive in telling the city where locations where we can have large group vaccinations. St. Barnabas Hospital, the New York Botanical Garden, and the Bronx Zoo both have huge parking lots, as well as Fordham University. We need to take advantage of the assets that we have so people don't have to travel far to get the vaccine if it's out of their way.
Another issue, obviously, that's come up over the last, year or so, even more so than in the past, has been the violence that we've seen. We've seen, obviously, there's been issues regarding whether it be gun violence or gang violence or any type here in the district. How would you address that? What would you feel would be the best course of action as far as addressing any of the violence that we've seen in the district?
So I think it's two things. One, for our young people, the 18 to 24, what we did when the tragedy with Junior happened a few years ago, we actually stepped up to the plate and we sponsored open gyms throughout the neighborhood at Roosevelt High School, at Grace Dodge High School. Hopefully, if the vaccine goes well, I want to sponsor open gyms throughout the community for the summer. So young people have somewhere to be, so they're not in the streets. The second thing is employment opportunities. And that's why I'm committed to investing in nonprofits to train people to get to work right away, and also increase funding for the Workforce One centers at Fordham Road and West Farms so we can get people back to work. And last thing, we've already been working with Fordham University to provide resume and interview workshops. We want to continue that every week and do some virtual job fairs.
To that end, though, you've mentioned it in some of your other postings that I've seen regarding criminal justice reform and just having there be more reform being done. What would you like to do as far as that process?
So a lot of this depends on the state, and a lot of this is impacted on. Right now, there's a proposal to invest $8.6 billion in 4 new jails throughout the city. And I oppose that plan. I think if we're going to be investing money long-term, why not build workforce development centers? Why not build more schools? We shouldn't be investing in 4 new jails. $8.6 billion is a lot of money, and it can be used in better ways. If we're investing in,
good.
Yeah.
No, continue. Go ahead.
I think it's important. Yeah. It's important that when we're thinking strategically, okay, we have a budget, we have limited amount of money, where do we get the best bang for our buck? I think that's housing, jobs, and schools, not jails.
Fair enough. 2 more questions for you, one fun and one serious, and then I'll let you get on your way here. What is a fun fact about you that people may not know? Something that they might not know about you that would surprise them?
Great question. I am a big WWE fan. I've even gone to WrestleMania myself. I went at the Giant Stadium, MetLife.
Oh, very nice. The most recent one?
The most recent ones. I'm a big wrestling fan.
I was there too. I'm a big WWE fan myself. Okay, so we got plenty. We could do a whole nother conversation about this at another time.
Oh yeah.
Good job. And by the way, there's a lot of us out there, so don't be ashamed about it. That's for sure. John, last thing for you here. You're one of several candidates in this race, so there's a lot of information out there for the voters to take in. Obviously, this is also ranked choice voting, so people can vote for more than one candidate. What do you want people to remember about you and know about you when they head in to cast their vote to make sure that they include you on their ballot and they vote for you?
It's important for people to know that I'm from 184th and Park Avenue, a neighborhood where people usually don't have the opportunities to go to great schools and graduate from NYU and come back and serve their neighborhood. I'm running to make sure that people in this neighborhood have the same opportunities I have. And I have a track record of already doing some of it, from having a year-round paid internship program, to sponsoring open gyms for young people, to working with Fordham University to bridge that gap between the community and the university. I've shown that I've gone above and beyond the job description. And that's what we need in the year 2021 when we have a new mayor, new city council. We need people with bold solutions and are ready to make the 15th council district the best council district in the entire city. And I hope I have your support on March 23rd.